Okay, so from yesterday class, we started from here. That was when we provision SQL Server and SQL database.
Yes.
So we were able to, of course, we saw how we can provision all those services in Azure. Then how we can apply our networking, and then also our firewall. And then we saw how firewall can filter IPs or other accesses coming from the internet. So I think that was a great start. So now we move into the lesson 3 of this training. So sir, after this lesson 3, sir, I want us to start treating some past questions.
No problem.
So I will send you the video of a particular past question, or probably the link on YouTube. So it's very comprehensive. It's like 2.5 hours video, highly comprehensive, and it covers virtually every part of the exam.
And does this our class cover everything? Yeah, it's going to come out to the exam.
Yes, it covers everything.
Okay.
Covers everything. So this is the training material directly from Microsoft to us as an MCT, Microsoft certified trainer. So it covers everything. So, but at the same time, when you are studying for exam, what do? We try to expand our tentacles and our knowledge, because basically, because information is always updated. So
yeah,
can't sit on that. Can't sleep on that. So for this lesson, you are going to be describing different query techniques for data using the SQL language. Of course, I know you are familiar with the SQL language, but of course, for the purpose of training.
I'm a novice for the purpose of this class.
Yeah. Never worry, we are not going to be doing a lot of SQL language here. After you pass this exam, that's where we now move to the level where we're going to be talking about SQL pool, Spark pool, Azure Synapses, and where you can now combine it with Power BI. So the initial one. So, don't worry. At least when we are talking about query, you know what we mean. We are talking about, you know what we mean. We're talking about people, you know what we mean. So that's the purpose of it. Then you also look at query relational data. All right. So SQL is a standard language for the use of relational databases. And as a standard language, it was maintained by ANSI, the National Standard Organization. Of course, proprietary of the relational database management system. They have their own extension of SQL. So basically, it's a standard language that the national ISO has adopted. But some companies can have their own. Okay? Some companies can have their own. So, like T-SQL is for Microsoft. Okay? Let this PG now is Postgre. PG SQL is Postgre. PL, other company. So, then we have the one for MySQL. We have the one for because they are structured. So because we are still going to semi-structured ones, which is like CosmoDB, Dremley, Cassandra. We'll still talk about that one later, just for you to understand this. So because when you are also working as a data analyst,
the SQL is just for structured data.
Exactly. So
that's why it's called structured query language, Abi.
Yes, sir. So for the semi-structured, those ones that will be in form of a packet, Avro, columnar, and JSON files or XML. Those ones are our database. It's one will be like Dremlin, Cassandra, CosmoDB API, and all of that. But when we get there, you get familiar with them too. Now, There's something I really want us to this one now. I don't know if you know it before or good, but if you don't, it's something you need to memorize. Something you need to memorize. So this for the sequence statement, they divide them into how many groups? I think about 3 groups. So here we have statements you can use to manipulate your data. So when you look at it, the relationship is very simple. DML means data manipulation language. So just look at data. All of them have data in common. Data manipulation language, data definition language, and data control language.
Okay, now on this page now, is there a possible exam question here?
In fact, there are 6 possible exam questions. So that's why I'm saying you must know this one by heart. In fact, up to see they can ask up to 6 questions on it. So that's why I'm trying to focus on it. So we here now, out of the 3, just know that okay, you have a language that can use for your manipulation. So that's your manipulation language. It's a language you can use for definition. That's your definition language. Then there's a language you can use for control. So that's why it's easy to, because when you're thinking of DML, DDL, DCL, only that. But if you think of it in management language, definition language,
DCL will be used more with DBAs, Abi.
all of them are used more. But just that for the DCL will be for administrator.
That's what I'm saying. DBAs, database administrators.
Yes, because you are granting permission, you are revoking, you are denying. Do you understand? So, but of course, the other two will be used by, of course, database administrator, analyst, and anybody that needs to work on that particular data. So your data manipulation language is used to query and manipulate data. So you must now know the example of this data. So when you use the word select, when you use insert, update and delete, so it belongs to manipulation language. So you want to define your database, you want to define, or you want to remove, you want to add, you want to drop. That's where you use your definition language. For example, you just create, alter, drop, and remove. Of course, like we said, for DSL, which is for administrator, even by looking at the name alone, that manage security permissions, and you manage permission, you manage securities, you manage how do we call it now? Roles too. Role. For example, because there are some databases you might want to work on, and there's some that you won't have access to. So it is this control language that they will use. The administrator you use to either grant you access or revoke your access or deny you. So under the DML manipulating language now, we are looking at quick. I'm getting here simple, because usually in the exams, these are simple questions they will ask you. You understand? So when you now pass those foundational ones, then you now move to for the one for data BI, Power BI, or the one for data analyst and all of that. They will now go deeper with you. So of course, for manipulating language, we are looking at select, insert, update, and delete. So what does select mean? It helps you to select or read a particular thing. Or select to insert. Of course, we all know you're inserting a new row, you're inserting a new data. Or perhaps if you're updating. Update means you are editing or you are removing a particular thing from an existing table. Okay. So, but understand that all this is used for a table. That's why I said from a table, in a table, in a table, in a table. So to manipulate all these manipulating statements, they use it on a particular table. Why do I say table? Inside of your database, you have database. Inside of your database, you have tables.
Yeah.
So these are used on the table. I want you to just understand that aspect. Why? Because questions come from that too. Of course, you will know that select, insert, and update are from manipulation statement. They will now ask you, are they using it on table or views or database? You understand what I mean? So just take note of that. Of course, element of select statement. So you can select from a list, Then when you use from, the from will be from a table or from a view. You know the difference between your table and your view, sir?
Yes.
What's the table? What's the view?
Table is a data set that contains just data set that has role and column. Why view is a virtual table?
Okay.
View is in form of a table, it's more of a virtual table. It's not a table per se. Just to make your, I don't know, how should I put it? But it's a virtual table.
So when you run a query, for example, you run a query from the list of a particular table, then it gives you the table. Then that particular information, that query, that result is stored in view. That's what you mean by virtual table. Actually, that's what they call it. Virtual table.
Yes.
Yeah, it's stored in view. Yeah. Then where is a conditional statement? When you are querying, then group by. These are joining stuff. When you are trying to join one table or one column to another column in the table, you use this group by or order by. When you are trying to sort. So these are elements of select statement. So which means when you use the word select, you can use from with it, you can use where with it, you can use group by and order by.
Okay.
So of course, this is a select statement.
Yeah.
So select employment ID, year. So the year means that year order table. Then as the other year from a particular table where that's the condition, where the customer ID is 71. Then when is displaying the results, group it by employer ID and the year. Then begin your count from 1, and then order it based on their ID another year. So when we later in our training, we'll deploy this, we'll work around this. But just for the statements for us to see how to do it.
What I'm taking.
Can you hear me, sir?
I'm with you.
All right. So another example of insert statement. Remember that your insert and your select, they are still under your manipulation statement. So of course, what they do, they help you to manipulate your data and your table. So your insert value statements, insert a new row. Value statement, insert a new row. So you can say insert into, of course, the sales dot other details is a table. So inside that table, there are columns. The columns are order ID, product ID, unit ID. Then you want to insert the value into the columns title you have already defined. So the order ID here will be 10255. Product ID will be 39. Unit price will be 2. Quantity will be, unit price will be 18. Quantity will be 2. Discount will be 0.05. Do you understand? So then you can now display your You just select your this thing and then you see what has been inserted. One, this particular statement, you use it when you are creating your own database. I mean, when you are creating your own table within your own database. You understand? So that was why we decided to use a predefined sample data, like AdventureWorks. Okay, so AdventureWorks has minimum of like 11,000 rows. So that's a huge data for us to work with and manipulate it. So, but we can't now it's not like we cannot, of course, manipulate that. We can manipulate it when we want to try. We want to try something else. You can just use this and just try it out. Okay, but the idea is that instead of creating our own database from the scratch, where we are just thinking, bringing one, how do I put it now? One abstract information. But if we already have a data generated by a company, so it means that we can truly see the trend. If you are looking for a trend, we can truly see relationship. If you are looking for a relationship, you know what I mean. We can see strong consistencies. If you are looking for strong consistencies. But imagine data that can form laterally. Whatever it gives us, not like we will not be able to make anything do with such data. You understand the idea? So table and row constructors add multi-row capability to insert and out. So what this is saying is that you can add multiple rows. So instead of doing it one after the other, so use the word like insert into this. So
question. All those data, projectly, yes. Multiple columns. You can have up to 20 to 30 columns. And I have plenty data. How do our database administration shall normal create our data here now?
When you say column, how do you mean? Because in this page now,
this one now has like 5 columns now.
This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay.
This is what those have up to 30 columns, for example.
Yes, sir.
And have rows of up to like 1 million or more. Why will not create information here?
Yes, sir. Number one, don't be surprised. They are data from probably a web page.
Okay, it's not as if anybody can manually do that thing.
Hello?
I can hear you. It's not as if it can be manually done. Because I'm wondering how such data can be created.
Oh, no, ni mo try ṣàlàyé fún yín. Ìyẹn náà a ti sọ̀rọ̀ àwọn data yẹn before. If you remember your OLTP and OLAP, your online transactional process. Do you remember? So, for example, just imagine that you've gone to Amazon.com and you are coming in for the first time. Do you know what amount of information you are going to supply? You understand? Starting from your first name, your middle name, your surname, your phone number, your email address, your home address. There's this zip code or whatever. Then they now ask some question, and then by the time you are putting this thing, that's what you say. It's in 10 columns already. You now say, okay, you want to buy this, Then each pages you are going to, each stuff that you are clicking are forming their columns. For example, when you say you check this, you check that. Okay, you want to buy this, you check it, you check that. Then you know what I'm trying to say. The way you buy, you understand why? Because you are clicking those things, but you don't know that you're actually submitting information. You understand? So by the time you finally say buy, at the end of the day, you've wrapped about 30 rows of columns. So once you press buy like this, OLTP, I can send you information and see database straight. Do you get? So why? It's better because it is a real-time database. And it's so strong because, for example, they've defined the websites. For example, where they are collecting your name to say, put your name here. It's your name. So if you don't put anything there, it will not accept. It will not allow you to submit. Remember, you have to put name there. Where they say you put name, you might not want to put number. You put number, you only bounce back. So please put correct. You understand what I'm saying? So when you now say put your phone number here, if you don't put phone number there, you might not submit because they might asterisk and said you want phone number. And when you put phone number, they might say 11 digits. You understand? So about 11 digits. You understand why? They predefine all those things. So the consistency of data is so strong. So at the end of the day, those data at their own backend is submitted. Bam. The moment you, let's say, you've gone through those processes, you submitted, bam, all those columns, I can match together and add a submit. Which means that when next you are coming back again, our column cover to anywhere repeated. Our cover to more repeated. For example, your name, all your information about you will be repeated. They won't ask you to start signing up again. Remember, they won't ask you. They just say put names and password. Have you? So the moment you put name and password, after you repeat the information and say customer database. You understand? I'll repeat it. So this time around, you bought book. This time around, you want to buy back. So research. You know, down the information you are submitting this time around is different from the one you submitted last time. What I mean by information now, what you are buying now. So which means segmenting it into two, three different things. Our information can work to my constant, which is your phone number, do you understand? But customer ID only were constant.
How it should be unique now?
No, customer ID were constant, but were unique.
That's what I'm saying.
It's like it's were unique, but it's like a matric number. But because you are making account number, you know you are coming back again to make that transaction. So customer ID, might be foreign key or primary key to store people data, your name, your address, you understand what I mean?
Yeah.
Now, then your other ID might different.
Yeah.
As you know. But it's the same person that is ordering this different times.
Yeah.
Do you understand? So it can merge those data together. It can merge it. That is why when you look at adventure work, you can see that their columns are mad. And then you now look at so that transactions are on real-time transaction. Real-time transaction.
Okay.
So when we look at your DDL, is your data definition language. So this time around, you want to create, you want to alter, you want to drop, you want to rename. All of this also happens on the table. So to create a new object in the database. So now, can you see now? So for create now, I said create a new object in the database. So which means that create does not only work on tables, it can work on a view.
Of course.
So modify the structure of an object. So of course, you can modify the structure of your table, you can modify the structure of your view. Okay, for instance, altering the table to add a new column. Okay? You can also drop a table, that is remove an object from the database. So you can rename an existing object. In as much as an object is defined within database. So it could be anything. So for example, create table. You know you can't create table without creating the database. You understand? So you create your table inside your. So this one is saying, oh,
I don't understand how you can't create table without creating database.
You can't when you log in, you must first of all have a database before you can create a table inside it.
Yes.
So what I'm saying is that you can't just
create table without database. Okay, you must create a table, database first before you create a table.
Exactly. Because we that content emphasize money. So that when you are creating, you know that this object is going inside the database. You know, they define it as an object.
Yeah. So is it that you create table on the database if the database is selected, or you use the database to create this table?
You can use database to create table, of course.
I'm just using from the code aspects. Is it that you select the the database you are creating from before you start creating the table.
Yes,
or
of course.
you use code by saying use social database, then create social table.
Exactly.
I understand that part.
Okay, good. So from here now, you now define what you want inside that code. The column.
Take. I'm sorry.
No problem, sir.
So
your table will have column.
You see now, but do more because I'm familiar with all this kind of.
Yeah, I know. Okay, you know you are also expanding your horizon. So it might look like but you will so amazed the day you now begin to see value in all those areas too. Sincerely.
Yeah.
You'll be so amazed. You feel like, man, you really appreciate the fact that you went through this crap. You know, you're so amazed. It was some level of I think it was when I started working in Microsoft that I discovered that all my journey, every journey I've taken in my life was like a sum total of what I was going to do in Microsoft. Guys, in looking back, I was like, God, thank God I did this. Thank God I did that. You know, so I now have an advantage. You understand? So I now have an advantage. So if you look at this table now, inside the defined language, said, okay, my column 1, see, I want it to be an integer. Okay. Then not null, then it must be the primary key, comma. Then my column 2, of course, variable character, nothing less than 50. Not null. My column 2, this should be column 3. There's a mistake here. This should be column 3. Variable character, you understand? So you define the column. So now, tell me, for my column 1 now, if you decide to put your name there, what will happen?
It's not an integer now, so it will not work.
So this is where we talk about strong consistency. You understand? So you have to be consistent. So you can't make mistake. You can't make that mistake because why? You could not accept it. You understand? Okay, so we are looking at query tools. So there are 6 areas where you can begin to do your query.
This SQL Management Studio, is it in Azure too?
The SQL Management Studio.
Mm-hmm.
Azure. Do you remember?
Yes, but that one is looking more like Azure. Wait. No. Go by. This one is normal management, like there be desktop management studio, but the view is not like this. The view is different. If you see the way your table views are and Kenichi home, to be picture SQL management studio is home.
You are right. Sir, the same engine, no?
I know it's the same engine, but I'm talking about the view itself.
Same engine, don't call duplicate some certain functions in there. The same engine. Okay. Because if you look at that portal very well, if that's log query, we sign in, which is this space. By signing, for us to query, he said, hopefully, we can consider do a preview. Very one thing about Azure, when anything is in preview, it's not a totally, like a services that is already fully functional in Azure. Preview mode, not sure. So which means that Microsoft can will be still working on things, will be adding some things to it, and then they will be asking their customers to ask, you guys, hope you are enjoying this thing, give us feedback on it and all of that. Do you understand? And because the machine is fully managed, the engine is fully managed. And I've explained what fully managed is to you. And I say the word managed means that Microsoft is the one managing everything around it.
Yeah.
So it's fully mine. So this other one, this second one, which is the one you are familiar with, SQL Manual Studio, it has been so old. The gun, as a low. So what you just see is you'll be seeing newer version. Yeah. No. So now, as time goes by, I started creating this other one, server data server data tools. This one can also do some other functionalities that this one cannot do. Okay. After a while, within the adventure of Azure, when Azure now came up, they now said, okay, let's create what we call Azure Data Studio. Now, do you know that one of the things we must learn about Data Studio is they will do the same thing. This one here and this one. Where's my? Sorry, I need. Sorry. Okay, so this one here will do the same thing as this one. Okay, but Eléyìí has the capability to add extensions because, of course, it's the latest development. And then, in fact, one of the things this Azure Data Studio can now do is that everything you are querying, everything you are doing, you can now save it in Excel. Tí ó lè ṣẹlẹ̀ níbẹ̀ láíláí. Láíláí àti láíláí. Do you get?
So this one you copy and paste in Excel.
This one you copy, you go and paste.
Excel, but it's limited because Excel has limited rows.
Do you understand? In fact, if those who are funny, this particular one, ó tún ní an Excel version tó tún lè bá ṣiṣẹ́. For example, when you have, okay, maybe you try later. For example, if you have a data, I'm talking of this Manual Studio. If you have a data, let's say you have an Excel data you want to upload to your SQL server, and that your Office 2016 and above, or 2013, it won't take it. It won't take it. It's a flat file. It don't take that flat file. You have to go and convert, you have to go and duplicate that Excel to 2007 and all those flat file remain. Meanwhile, the Manual Studio you are using is .19 version of Neo, which means the latest one. But the Excel like so you have to go and duplicate that Excel. So our functionalities here now, they are not really speaking well. But because, do you know why Microsoft is still keeping it? Because number one was equal. And number two, virtually every organizations are using it to run their database. So you can't stop it. You can't say you are not using it again. So what they now did was to still continue the functionality and say, okay, guys, we are moving to Azure, which is our cloud platform. But we want to give you this functionality to make sure that because you are used to this, you can still always do your work here. So there's nothing you want to do here, sir, that you cannot do in Data Studio. In fact, this Data Studio has capability to do 10 times better than this Management Studio. Why? This one can work, can connect. This Data Studio can connect to Synapses. That Synapses I'm always telling you about. It can connect to Spark. Spark is for Oracle. Oracle on Spark. You can connect to Hive. They use Hive for your big data. You understand? Your big data. And all of this Adobe, they are not made by Microsoft. And you know, there are also other companies too that, that have, for example, now, if you are looking at business intelligence tools now, there are three actually, but there are two powerful ones that you know. Number one, Power BI. Number two, Tableau, right? But why are you not learning Tableau? I don't know if you know Tableau.
Tableau, yeah.
So, yes, Tableau. But the point is, Power BI, you call it business intelligence tool. You know what I'm saying? Because I also discovered that Amazon too have their own. Amazon too have their own. So why is Power BI so rampant everywhere? Because number one, Microsoft is an enterprise business. You know, they have all this why. Make sure that they provide solutions that are enterprise tailored made. That's their strategy. You understand? So before you could think of other solutions, you are thinking of Microsoft products first.
Yeah.
So that's why. So Tibako Bawa Day, you know, I very beg if really you that you are removing all support from this one. To cause them problem. Because 90% of their customers are using this. So what they could do is just to bring this in. If you now discover one thing, you will discover anyway. Now the whole functionality here is what is inside this Azure portal, the one Azure portal. The same thing. So they're just trying to tell you that, guys, if you cannot use this, just come and use this one. The same functionality. They will now, somewhere around this place, you now put it there that, okay, you can join your data to your SQL Management Studio. You now give you the link. The link will now go and download this one. So when you download it to your computer, that becomes an on-prem now. It's not my cloud. You understand what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not my cloud. So this does not reside in cloud. So what they now do is that they will give you a link to create LAN that DP900 training.database.clinicon.net. They'll now give you, now copy that link and now paste it here and now connect to the same server. And then you are doing your work. Do you understand? So that's what they have done. Okay. Now, some people they love new things. They love trying new things. Maybe people like me. And they go to the Azure Data Studio. They want to know. Once they discover that, man, there's something I can do here that I cannot do here. One time, they abandon this one straight. You understand what I'm saying? I'm someone like that as a person. And I see something new. I was like, I don't know this picture. This one can do this and this one can do. Man, abandon it straight. Why? Because this one has a lot of functionalities. As this one is now. Okay. I'm thinking of showing you that Data Studio. I'm thinking of showing you that Data Studio.
The one you downloaded for me on that my VM is what? I mean, that we deployed, sorry.
The Data Studio too.
It's Data Studio.
It's the same thing.
Which one? Azure Data Studio, Abi?
Yes.
Or Azure Portal?
Azure Portal will only be inside the portal.
Because Azure Data Studio.
So every other one will be downloaded. Every other one will be downloaded. So now let me move to the next one. SQL CDM.
CMD.
I mean, CMD rather. Of course. Me, I've always loved this interface. I don't know why I even love this interface so much. Now this is the Linux running. This particular line you are looking at. This is the Linux server. But when I deploy a server, a Linux server, instead of using the tools called Command I like to use CMD. Why the CMD is already on the laptop. I just bring it up, and then I'll sign into it, and then I get familiar with it. You understand? So that is how your SQL CMD is. But two things: is either you go and download a package called SQL CMD and then install it, so that it can enable that your normal CMD.
What functions can you do on this SQL CMD?
It's the same thing, sir. You don't understand? It's the same thing. It's the same thing. Just like
what kind of queries would you be running on it?
All your query. It does not have any special query. The only thing is is serverless.
But it doesn't have a database now.
This thing is connected to a database. It's connected to a database.
So, for example, on this SQL CMD, if you want to select, let's say from that adventure work, I want to select employee details, for example, maybe human resource employee. So how will you do it here? How will it recognize? Let's say you have adventure work database, you have Dotun data warehouse, you have Tony DW. Now on this CMD, how would you now be able to run your code to get information from Dotun DMW? I mean DW.
No, number one, the question is, when it comes up, it is empty. But when this one comes up, you can see the database by the side.
Yes.
So what you do is that you run a particular code that will show all database you have, first of all, inside this place. You now bring them. Remember, you always have your master DB, your master database, and some other thing. Then you bring them. So that's where you now know, okay, these are database there. Then you now begin to run code that will say, okay, I want to run this query for this particular database. So inside this place, you can drag your database. When you run, let's say select from blah blah blah. You can drag from here. You can't do it here. You must give the name. You must give.
So why will I want to use SQL CMD and leave my SQL?
Exactly. Some people are used to this. So Microsoft is just trying to.
Okay, just give enough options for anybody.
Exactly.
Everybody to accommodate your preference.
Everybody. Exactly. So now, some people, when they were learning computer, like DOS nothing better. And then they move to PowerShell, and then they move to this. See what I'm trying to tell you. If anybody has been working on Linux server, if they're working on Linux server, they work on PowerShell. To work on a graphics interface, I don't know. So they prefer, oh yeah, just give me the code. They type it and they just love it. They see it as a form of course, high-level security, Because now, if I open your laptop and I'm looking at this, I can see some information about whatever that you are doing. Have you? But if I open this place and it's just like this, what do I know that you understand? Ordinarily, if I need to connect to my Linux here, this particular Linux, if he asks me to put password, I'm just saying, let's say Ogbewa only put password. Now I want to type password. Let's say this is my password. This password will not show. How come I'm blinking? Meanwhile, I'm typing. Do you understand what I'm saying? I'm blink. So which means that I must know what I'm going to type. It is that secured. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So instead of that bringing in that password, it will just be blinking. Blinking, blink. and you are typing. Meanwhile, he's seeing it. When you press enter, that's when you know that, oh, I've been able to enter into this machine. So some people like it like that, like you said, for preference.
I mean, you have interface when your hackers mama logo.
Exactly. And we also use this one too. Linus, I know listen to do really insane Metasploit using. We are also trying to use to hack. And this particular project I'm on, and we are using this one. So if it's a bash it, as it's eternal blue. So what we are trying to do is to like using the Linux server to attack the Windows server. Meanwhile, the Windows server we have a lot of computer in its network. So I'm a mama attacking. But it's a controlled environment. Why? Because it's within our resource group, within the Azure portal. So it's not we are not attacking any known network. But it's for academic purpose and research purpose. So it will help us to recreate how exactly they are doing it and the result they get. So that's it. So for private purpose, some people just love it. Fine, I didn't like it at the beginning. For me, I think I'm loving it now. As a person, I think I'm loving it. Why? Because I'm now spending more time with Linus. I'm spending more time with Linus. I'm going deeper in it and all of that. Why? The time will come too. Someone will say, "Doctor, come and teach me Linus. Come and teach me how this is." So I have to go deeper. You understand? I have to go deeper. I have to make sure that I know the nitty-gritty. Sir, in fact, let me ṣe onírọ́ ló máa ń sọ pé ẹlẹ́rìí òun wà ní kànfàǹṣà. No, Tony, why? Because there's a chart here. I just want to quickly just show you so that you know that. Where's the chart? I know I chatted this person in the night. Yes, look at this person. Olusegun Joshua. Did you see what I every time you send a message at 9:53 shortly? We need thanks for the Linus text you sent to me today, sir. You are welcome. We had a session with some customer from Greece, India, and maybe UK. That is the wala. I think the guy is a Linus. We call them Linus Ninja. You know, these guys are mad. As in, they are mad guys. They are mad guys. And the guy just started this conversation, and then he joined the call. And after the whole thing, he started to fi ara balẹ̀ to show me ní àwọn kankan for complete 1 hour. I was like, Jesus. He got to a point and said, "Oga, I will need my." The guy was just like, only phone the time. And before I knew it, he sent about 6 different documents. Go to for many YouTube link. Because that's knowledge. So, because I know that one day, the knowledge will be needed. Why? I want to have a laptop. You understand? So that's it. Everything that can be done here, sir, that you are seeing here, can also be done here. And people will be amazed. And they'll be like, what are they doing? You understand? So that's it. Then, Sherry got to one by sir. Where's my arrow? Sherry got to one by this now. Now, Microsoft have moved this to Azure. Look at this language now. It's Bash. The Bash only load the computer. So you can use Bash, normal Bash, to do your Linux and all that. So they've now moved it because they call it CLI, command line interface. So use Bash to run CLI. So this Bash now is now in cloud. So you can see, can you see cloud shell? Now this one is a normal. This one is a normal on-prem shell. physical shell. This one is cloud shell. So like a terminal, you now begin to run your code here and again. So gbogbo nǹkan tí query in bíbáyìí or query in bíbáyìí can also be queried there. So some people now, they just want to stay on Azure. They don't want to leave there. You understand? So once they get there, say, okay, I can run myself like that. They move there. Cherry BT bash this place, sir. This arrow. When you click it, there are two. The other one is PowerShell. Some people are now so crazy about PowerShell. PowerShell is developed by is a language, it's a scripting language developed by Microsoft. You know, so your PowerShell is an administrative language. You can administrate anything, but PowerShell is crazy girl. In fact, I didn't even miss an interest. PowerShell because that's another thing. So you can also use your PowerShell. Yeah. But the purpose of these tools is that all these 6 interfaces that you are looking at, you can run SQL Server on it. Do you understand, man?
Yeah.
The purpose of this is that this particular one, if you know this one very well, it will be easier for you when you are running your Linux. Your Linux can also have SQL Server. But to show you that query Linux. So it's easier for you to also run because Linux does not give you graphics interface. So you can see Linux doesn't give you graphics interface. Doesn't give graphics interface. Gbogbo graphics imagine gbogbo nonsense. Graphics if I thought I give graphics. So into that graphics maybe we are trying to log into a particular tool to tell you, okay, welcome to that tool. You understand? Just to make you look like, okay, it's not blank. Graphics. I just kept this one so that I can still continue the project. Graphics. So line of code, So your SQL Server 2 can also be run inside your Linux. And then you query it. You do your selects, blah blah blah. After, but problem is anyway, when you have said your own selects, you now go and type go somewhere. This is that go. You understand the idea?
Yeah.
So, but for your level, stick with what you know. Stick with it. But if there's any reason for you to know deeper than that, we'll be here to take you. So query relational data in an Azure SQL database for Postgre. Now remember, we have T-SQL. I said that one belongs to Microsoft. Then there's another query, there's another relational database that one can use, that people use a lot. For example, your Postgre, your MySQL, your MariaDB. Remember, people use them. So we can't restrict our learning to Microsoft T-SQL alone. So, which means to query P-SQL too, this is what you do. This is how his own language is being run. P-SQL database.com, blah. Now, the beauty of this PostgreSQL is that you can now deploy it on Azure. Let's say, for example, you want to learn it, and you don't know where to get it. Just go to Azure, you see it there. And then you now begin to learn its own command. You understand? You need to learn its own command. Then the another one, I'm sure you'll be familiar with this one, MySQL. So to run your MySQL, you need what is called MySQL Workbench.
I'm not familiar with MySQL though.
I thought you were.
No.
But MySQL, popular gone. No popular. No popular. So just like the way you use, the way you use all of this, all this one here for your T square. T square, not T square. T square. All of this down because they are Microsoft. So Microsoft is finding a way to make sure that they offer our customer online. So the way they created all this one so that you can use it to run T square. That is the way this workbench is used for MySQL. If you look at it that very well, it says set up new connection. The same way, set up new connection. Look at this Azure. That's what it's saying. It says set up new connection. The same way. The same way you connect to your Abby. That place that will say connect. Remember?
Yeah.
Somewhere here. The same thing on. So this one says set up new connection. So the new connection, you type a new name for the connection. Then you must have a server. You must have a server that you already have. Then what type of connection? TCP/IP. Then your host name. Look at this host name. It's saying 127.0.1. Let me write it out. Have you ever met this address before? Seen it somewhere? Anything? Sir?
No.
All right. But if you look at it, it looks like an IP address. Just like when you want to log into your VM, remember? You want to log into your VM, you need an IP address. You need your username and password. And then take it to your VM remotely. Now, I want to explain a concept within IP to you. Just a concept because I'm not going to go deeper into IP. When you deploy an SQL server into your local machine, this is your physical machine. That's what they mean by local machine. The server is inside this local machine. Like I told you, computer communicates to themselves using binary and IP address. So because it's a server, that computer must have a name.
Sure.
That name must reflect itself and still come back to itself. I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say. They call it loop back address. This address you are looking at, they call it loop back. So from the word loop back, they must always come back to it. So it's the default number or default IP address for a local host machine. But you understand it.
Is it unique to a particular host machine or is it general default number?
It's a general default number for anybody that cares to use it. Because it is localized. But if all the computers are connected to a network, this cannot be the name. This cannot be. So get me.
All right.
If they are connected to a network, so it means there'll be a server somewhere that will have a server IP that will be feeding all the networks, all the computers on the network some information. But because the laptop that you are using right there and the laptop I'm using right here, they are on their own, they are isolated. They are isolated. But inside it, you now put a server there, and that server must have an IP address. So you are mandated to give it an IP address called a loopback address or a local host address, because that server is hosted locally. Do you know what that means? Can you understand the answer? That server is host locally means that it is localized to your environment alone, to your laptop alone.
Okay.
So when you now come to the browser, when you come to your browser and say, oh, I need to access, when you come to your browser and say, oh, I need to access this particular server, you now say localhost maybe dot localhost. Let's say one, if you look at the port number is 3306. Try to give that port number 3306. So with something like this, because that server is residing inside of the local machine you're not putting a local machine, and the word host is another name for a particular machine. They can also use host for that machine. They can use node, N-O-D, for a machine. So we are saying, where is the host that is hosting this server locally? That is within the phrase. Say, this is it. So you now say localhost dot, whatever the IP, whatever the, what's it called? The port number. Of course, this one will not go because there is no server here. You know what I mean? There won't be any server here. But if I already have a server here, we should log B page. Our log B page. It will now bring a page that is talking of something like welcome to my SQL workbench, something like that. So you now begin to, so that web page will help you to go into that server. Do you understand? That web page will help you to, just like the way and manner I said your CMD will help you go into your server, my Linux server, or just like the way your RDP will RDP into. Do you understand? So it's like an interface that helps you to. But now this time around, your RDP, if you remember your RDP, you are using that IP address because the machine is located somewhere in East US. So you have to travel through the internet to go and meet the machine there, Abby.
Yeah.
So that is why you are using a public IP. Do you understand? But if the machine is within your network, what you need to do is a private IP. But this time around, if the machine is a local host, then you. So it is when you are seated there. It is when you are seated there that you can work on it. If you are not there, you can't have access to it. I hope you understand, sir. Okay. So, module 3, explore non-relational data in Azure. So we are going to be starting from here. So, but before we start from here, in our next class, we're going to be starting from here. But before we start from here, like I said, I'm going to be showing you one or two things because we still have time. This is 11:30. So we're going to be starting from here in our next class. So there's something I want you to do tonight, sir. So I want you to join Microsoft events.
Hold on. Are you going to Microsoft events?
Oh, don't worry, I'll show it to you. Okay. For that your goal, Microsoft event. Okay. Can you see this event, sir? Data fundamental. So this event is on the 8th. 8 and 9. It's 2 days. So I just hope that event here could see you are filled up because event tomorrow are filled up. I'm giant. So today is 3rd. So you have about 3-4 days more, I hope. So what you do is that I'm going to register you with your email address. That your Gmail address. I'm going to register you with it. And then you must attend this class. Why? When you attend this class, you can attend the class and just don't use your phone. Just attend the class. Don't be somewhere. Do something else. But if you feel like you want to follow what they are teaching, it's the same thing I'm teaching you that they also teach them. But why am I saying you should go there? The moment you finish that thing, they will give you a free voucher to write the first exam that I promise you. But you must first of all identify with them here.
Okay.
Do you understand? So which means you must join them on 8th of October and 8th of March and 9th of March. Now look at the time. Because okay, me, I'm in Nigeria, West African time. Why is this like this? 4:30 West African time. That's what I'm looking at.
4:30. How long is the training?
It's 3 hours.
I think I'd rather choose that 4:30 because.
So you can't even join this one. Look at it. The event is full. Like I said, the event one full. So put the sumo so as a page. So let me look for another one. Let me look for another one. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Data order.
Sir?
You pass data fundamental. Go up. You can start from up again.
Yeah, that's.
Okay. Oh, is this not the same one?
This is here.
I saw okay, Dane. Sorry.
This is virtual training day. Power platform, really, right? Power platform. Yeah.
Continue. We should go on next to buy.
No.
You didn't connect.
The coin, really. It's hallelujah.
Oh, okay.
You just do this 16 moment.
That's another data fundamental. This one.
So,
Yes.
can you see on the 10?
10 is on Thursday.
What I'm
11.
looking at, this one look like a real really.
And this one is better for me now. West Africa time, and is it the same time with us or 1 hour behind?
No, we are 1 hour behind. I understand. So which means that
this is maybe 11.
So it will be like 11 your own time. So while we are rounding up our class, you just join.
Okay, so try this one.
You can go and sleep. You understand? If you want to follow, fine. But what I want is you join the exact time so you can join. Because they will merge your email address. They have a join now. They will give you a link for day one. They'll send a mail to you. They'll give you a link for day one, a link for day two. Two different links in information. You understand? So let's check this one. If
beautiful.
Praise God. So Sherry, Thursday, 10th of March.
Why is the time not okay?
Because in March, Sherry, ibi tó ti fẹ́ ṣe events lè Sydney time ni. But Sherry ẹ̀kan yẹn, kìíní yẹn ti program page yẹn such a way that ó ti wo time tèmi. Ṣé o West African time lèmi wà?
Okay.
Ṣé ti get? So 10 àárọ̀ wọ́n máa bẹ̀rẹ̀ ní Sydney. Ṣé pé Sydney ni?
Okay.
Meanwhile, we are 11 hours behind Sydney.
Okay, I get.
Or 10 hours behind Sydney. Because we are behind them. So táwọn bá ti wà ní 10 àárọ̀ láàárọ̀, àwa ṣì wà ní òru báyìí.
Okay.
Ṣé ti understand?
All right.
So Thursday and Friday. So
any of the days, Abi?
No, you must do the two.
You
must do the two. You must complete it. But you can just join, drop your phone and go and sleep, like I said.
Okay.
You discover that it's everything that I've been training you. But if you now follow, you hear what they're saying, you can also buttress. I get, oh yeah, I mentioned this, I'm saying this, okay. It just help. Okay, so there's what I'm going to do now. To my sensing, it's for time, so you won't forget. Date full and converter. So that you will know your own time. This is Thursday, 10th of March. Ten a.m. Oh, okay. 10 a.m. So GMT plus 11. Yeah, original. So ẹ ti rí bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn sìn. Ẹ wo táìmù yìí. ní 10th of March ní GMT plus 11 10 o'clock.
Yeah, will be 11 now.
So lọ́dọ̀ tèmi bí báyìí 12 ló máa bọ́ sí. So lọ́dọ̀ tí yín bẹ̀ yẹn 11 ló máa jẹ́. So I get it. So if I put GMT, which is your normal time, so you are joining on the 9, not on the 10. It's your husband.
Yeah.
So I will screenshot this to you for you to know that. So you can just put it in somewhere that.
That's the one. Then the second day come.
No, it's the same time
for me now.
The same time. No, I'm better.
Are you sure?
No, same time.
Next day. Go back. Let's see.
The same time. Look at it. 10 a.m.
Oh, okay.
10 a.m. The same time.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
That's what I was saying yesterday.
Yes, this is I sent to someone yesterday.
Yeah.
You know, I was talking about. I was talking about preview. So which means that they just added that query editor to it. You understand? So Okoma needs slight functions. Okay. If you look at Management Studio has a lot of information like right? This one only has 3. Just get my answer. So all you can do is just query table and that's all. So I'm sure you had there. But I know as time goes by, they want to do a lot. Okay, back. Right.
I'll put it on my calendar.
I'll just send it to you on WhatsApp. So you can already. So let me send you this link. So you fill in this information. Let's go.
Yes, sir.
So fill in all the information yourself. Yeah.
So these are
no, because it doesn't just look for one company and put usually. So you will now see called data concept, relational data in Azure, relational data in Azure, non-relational data in Azure, non-relational data in Azure, and all that. So at day by day, you understand? At day by day. You just click on the link and you can set an alarm concept so that you won't forget. Because I wouldn't want you to miss. Never to miss it, right? Also the April, because I'm putting it like once in or towards the end of the month. So that when you're able to do them, get it, I will now help you schedule that exam, and then you can go and write it. So that is to that. So we've done that. Now, like I said, I want us to just look at some past questions.
Work of a database engineer,
You can put database administrator or whatever. Okay, are you ready, sir?
Which register?
Okay, you want to register that, have you?
I'm registering now. I'm done now.
You are done doing the registration, right?
Yeah, I just want to click on register.
Please do. You'll send you an email. Okay. I just want us to look at the first 5 questions before going to bed. So that you now know that, okay, no be shire, so that you know the areas to concentrate on. Okay. So are you ready, sir?
Okay. Is this question 1?
Yes.
Okay. Descriptive
analysis.
Descriptive analysis. Is that what occurred in the past? Wait, what? Describe is what? To be what occurred in the past, Abi?
I want you to pick your own option, then you now check what the answer is.
Is what occurred in the past.
All right, final answer. Correct. So let's check question 2. So what do you think should be the answer?
But data is sorted 1 row at a time. No, not real time. Latency is always inserted. Hold on.
Take your time.
The latency is expected.
What do you say?
Latency is expected.
How do you mean latency is expected?
Huh?
How do you mean latency is expected?
There's usually a delay before you trans. You know, you can't put everything at the same time. There's usually a delay.
Okay.
Is it that one or 1?
You know, you pick one, or you don't pick 2. Mr. Tony, pick one. You only look pẹ̀lú.
No. Okay, now let me change my mind. Data is inserted 1 row at a time.
Kí ni batch processing?
In batches now.
Okay. So what other processing do you have? Let me help you.
Online real time.
What's it called? That real time. What's it called?
That's all app now.
It has a name.
Streaming. Sorry, yeah, streaming, yeah. Streaming and batch processing, yeah.
So it will small batch processing. No, I want to consider. Take your time.
Let me reason very well. Sorry, Goku and Kenya are confusing. Are confusing me. Well, it is for batch, it is processed at specific time. So looking at that, which one is close to it? Oh, you're trying to confuse me with
No,
with your question.
I want you to haze this exam. So we've taken our time to do some classes over time. So now these are real-time questions you will see in the exam. So that's what I'm saying. Take your time now. Shall question 1? You look at it and you got it. So take it now. So that by the time we finish this video again, doing past question, you are writing the exam, you are getting your 900 over 1000. You know? Because I'm taking you through the process.
It is not serially. It is not online real time. Processing can execute serially.
Yeah, well done, sir.
It has time, Abby.
Of course, but now that we are learning, you don't have time. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So when you are doing the exam now, but by the time they were used to this.
Okay, I go for processes can only execute serially. This is going to be in sequential order. I'll go for the serially.
Okay. Final answer.
Serially. Hey! And that was the first one I chose.
And that was the correct. And that was why I asked you, why did you choose latency? So that I will see the reasoning behind your understanding. So you understand? I was shocked when you said latency. I was like, man. So I wanted to now see your reason. And you told me exactly what I wanted to hear. But all of a sudden, you want to change your mind. You told me what I wanted to hear. And that's why I was saying, okay, let me help you again. So other data, other processing is called streaming. So of course, when there is a batch processing, there will be a delay. And you've already said it, latency, delay. You understand what I mean? All right.
Question 3. Extract ETL process requires extract, transform, and load process requires a time. No, it's not a matching schema. It doesn't have to match. That's the purpose of transforming. Target plus portion of it. So we processed for target data store. Data is fully processed before loading to target data store.
Final answer.
That's my final answer. Because that's the purpose of transformation. You need to be able to process the data before you can load, before you load it to where you're storing it.
And that's the correct thing. So that means you now have a fully understanding of the difference between your ETL and ELT.
Yeah.
So let's check the next one. Question 4.
Yes. No. The target data store powerful enough to transform data.
So your extract, load, and transform.
Yeah.
So it must have a target data store powerful enough to transform it.
Transform data, yes. I go for that one, final answer.
Second one, second option B, Abi.
B, yes. Question 5. Relational database is appropriate for scenarios that involve a high volume of. I can't see. What was the last one? I can't see because of this. Your read the last one.
Yes. You can't see this one, Abi.
Yes.
The rights that have varying data structure.
Varying data structure. Rights that have varying data structure.
Which one are you picking?
I should pick the last one. I don't really understand the other one.
Are you?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, so a relational database is appropriate for a scenario that involves a high volume of.
I really don't. But the one that makes more sense to me is the last one, which is rights that have varying data structure. What did you call it?
A relational database is appropriate for scenario that have high volume of. Okay. For me, I'll go with transactional writing.
Well, I've not really done that one. Let's do. I'm sticking with.
And that's his OLTP.
Which one?
The third one, OLTP.
Why is it like that?
Yeah, that is it now. That's your OLTP now. Your OLTP is your online transaction. High volume. As people are making that transaction, is writing. You know, there's read, there's write. Write means you can edit. So it's writing, it's dropping it serially. Bam, 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 bam. So it's high volume. The database has been configured. So like your bank transactions, high volumes, it's dropping.
Okay.
Let's do the last one for tonight, question 6. So it's a good transactional right loan. Okay.
Transcribing audio factors.
So which one do you go for?
No, what predicts the transcribing. The cognitive analysis.
Cognitive. You are going for cognitive.
Let me see. Let me try.
What's the answer?
Uh-huh.
All right. So we have come to the end of today's class. So try and go over your materials.
Yeah, I will go over it. I've not gone over it. I'm just using this, but I think I need to start going over it since I have the exam that I want to do.
And it's just like a 1 hour exam.
But at the end of the day, all these questions, they are, what's it called? It's going to come out the same way, Abi, or they're still going to tweak it.
Even if they are tweaking it, it might be that where you have your cognitive, it might be down. Where you have your data store, it might be, do you understand? Maybe on might be pass. Okay. Where you have your latencies expected, it might be number 1 instead of number 3. You get what I'm trying to say? But that's how their question will come. So we'll be dealing with different formats questions. So as time goes by, so at the end of each class, why? Because we are already approaching to the end of that training. So that by the time they're about to go, they're about to join class here, you can now set up your class, you can set up your exam. By the time we are finishing this one, because by changing our treat and pass question, just get. So you just go and write it, you pass. Then we'll move to
at the end of the how many questions? How many? 50, 100?
Say for exam or for pass question?
Yeah, the exam.
Exam is like 40, 45.
Then the pass question is like how many?
This pass question is, we have 100, I guess.
Oh, okay. That's fine.
That one.
But it seems it's not going to be a big deal as long as you understand what the material.
No, I'm amazed. At least you were able to. Amazed. So it won't be a big deal. So once about the see that Chile, and like I said, and before you know it, when the opportunities start coming in now, you know that all these late nights is over worthwhile.
Yes. All right. I can't wait for you to start working and start doing this thing.
No problem. In fact, it will get to a point, sir. Let me tell you, it will get to a point. Now, some projects you get, you still come and sync with me. You see, say, let's work together. I can assure you. I can assure you. So, if you don't do me, so what do you?
All right, no wahala now. Thank you very much. So we'll continue tomorrow. We are continuing with our Azure, Abi.
Yes, so I've seen there's a AWS, so I've discussed with the guy. So
we'll be doing that much later. Let's concentrate on this one.
Yeah, this one, because I understand this is very practical, and this one will take enough time. You can see the way we are digging into it, it's taking enough time. Especially there was a debut data warehouse, that day I should snap this and all. So don't worry, we'll concentrate more on that. Thank you so much for the opportunity to take this class. So do have a wonderful night rest.
Yeah, you too. Bye.
Bye.